Hello all and welcome. To start off this series, I'm going to start with one of my favorite monster movies of all time, besides Godzilla, that is, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I remember seeing this movie for the first time when I was younger. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel on a Saturday. Any kind of serpent, dinosaur, or monstrosity that came from the sea always kept me entertained and mesmerized. Anyway, let's get ready to scream. The last movie in what was to become known as the Universal Classic Monsters, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, is a 1954 sci-fi horror movie brought to you by Universal International. It was directed by a fella from the same state as me, actually, Connecticut, Jack Arnold. The movie stars Richard Carlson and Richard Denning, who are both well known in the 1950s B monster movie genre. Dennings plays the villain in this picture, the greedy guy who wants all the glory for the next big discovery. Richard Carlson, being a personal favorite of mine, is the hero in this movie. He always ends up playing this nervous kind of scientist that's also wicked smart and always has a plan for any catastrophe. The man always delivers in every role he's ever played, no matter what part it was or how big the production was. A fantastic actor. The leading lady role, and in fact one of the only women in this movie, is played by the late Julia Adams, who is absolutely stunning in this movie. She is also known for helping out put away bad guys on Perry Mason and Murder, She Wrote. She is considered to be one of the original Scream Queens. She is also probably another one of my favorite actors from the 1950s monster movie B genre. She plays a awesome damsel in distress. She really goes all out in this movie. Every time she screams, facial expressions, she is truly a phenomenal actress. Unfortunately, while making this review, she passed away earlier this month. Rest in peace to such an amazing actress. The movie takes place deep in the Amazon, where an archaeological dig discovers a fossilized claw. The lead archaeologist, Carl Meeum, played by Antonio Moreno, heads back north to recruit more to help him find the rest of the fossil. He ends up persuading David Reed, played by Richard Carlson, Kay, played by Julia Adams, and Dr. Thompson, played by Whit Basil, and funding to come from our bad guy, Mark Williams, played by Richard Denning. Just the kind of guy who's really, really eager to get out there and find the rest of this fossil because he knows he'll be famous for it. The newly assembled team returns to the Amazon on a small boat called the Rita, which is captained by a man named Lucas, played by Nestor Piava. Sorry, guys. I gotta warn you ahead of time. I'm gonna butcher these names. I apologize. For some reason, he kind of reminds me of Han Solo meets the town drunk. Another great character that really helps add to this movie that already has a great persona. Upon returning to the dig site, they discover the rest of the first team had been killed. But that doesn't seem to faze them too much because they begin digging immediately for the rest of the remains. After a long day of digging, they come up with nothing. So they decide to go deeper into the lagoon to possibly find something. Now, deeper in the lagoon, Reed and Williams head to the bottom of the river to collect rock samples to see how old or how long some of these fossils have actually been there. Once they return to the boat, we get the iconic scene where Kay is swimming above and the gill man, or the creature, whichever you prefer, is swimming below her, almost symmetric. You get the sense of the Beauty and the Beast kind of feel here. The music in this scene is undeniably amazing. The music was composed by 3 different people: Henry Mancini, Hans J. Salter, and Herman Stein. Once the team suspects there's something else roaming around the area, they decide they need to get proof of its existence. Of course, trying to take pictures underwater didn't go so well. So now they need to prove it's real, and there's only one way to do it, by capturing it. After a few failed attempts, later that night, the Gillman finally makes himself known, and this is when they capitalize on capturing him. They knock him out using a drug made by the locals, provided by Lucas, called retinol, which, the first couple times they said it, I couldn't make out what he was saying. I had to actually look it up. They keep the creature in a makeshift container aboard the boat, which doesn't last long. The gill man breaks out, mauls Dr. Thompson, and jumps back overboard. At this point in the game, they realize it's better to bail, take off, and come back later to try to capture the creature. Williams is against this, of course, but Lucas seems to persuade him that it's time to leave. Unfortunately for the crew of the Rita, there is only one way in or out of the Black Lagoon, and the gill man has that blocked. Reed has an idea on how to move the tree. Like I said, he's always got a plan. Once again, though, Williams tries to intervene, but Reed shows him this is his turf, While in the water trying to move the tree, the gill man shows back up, and William again sees his chance to try to capture him. This time, though, the creature has him, drags him to the bottom, and twists and turns him all around the riverbed, just like an alligator or crocodile would. Reed enters the fight with a harpoon gun to try to scare the monster off, which he is able to do, but he is unable to save his friend. After losing Williams, they are going to attempt one more try at freedom. Reed, again the genius who's always got a plan, rigs the harpoon gun to spray out the rotenol. This time, while in the water, he sprays enough in the creature's face to make him turn and run, or so they think. The gill man sneaks back aboard the boat, grabs Kay, and takes her back to his lair. Reed refills the spray gun and goes after her to save Kay. The monster's cave is pretty spooky looking, dark, dank, filled with razor-sharp rocks, and of course, smoke. Hey, if you're going to have a lair, you got to have smoke in there somewhere. After a desperate battle, right when the gill man looks like he's about to backbreak Reed out of his mind, up shows Lucas and Mia, and they take the monster down like a firing squad. They unload up to 5 or 6 shots into the monster's chest until Richard says,
No more, let him go.
It's as if Richards almost feels bad for the creature, even after all they've gone through. The creature stumbles back to the water's edge with the surviving party watching him. The last glimpse we have of the gill man in this picture is we see him try to swim off as he slowly drifts and seems to die. Or does he? And that was The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I know I said this already, but I gotta stress it again, is by far one of my most favorite monster movies of all time. Thank you all for watching. See you next time for more gills, chills, and thrills.